Hey everybody, welcome to our downtown studios. I'm your host, John Ramdeen, and this is FNNE. We dig through some of the stories in MMA that have people talking. In the news today, a top female is looking to drop a weight class, the World Series of Fighting champion defends his actions, and a ranked lightweight targets a move to 145 pounds. Invicta 145-pound champion Cris Cyborg is trying to do what she can to make 135 pounds. According to Justino's former manager, Tito Ortiz, if the mega fight between the Brazilian and Ronda Rousey does not happen, it won't be because Cyborg can't make the weight. Ortiz stated that the Thai boxer is doing everything possible to get down to bantamweight. However, it is still a challenge to make 140 pounds. Justino is coming off an impressive 45-second TKO victory last month in Las Vegas. After successfully defending his World Series of Fighting welterweight title by submitting Jake Shields, Rousimar Palhares has come under heavy criticism after tactics employed during the championship contest. Shields sustained damage to his eyes as the Brazilian repeatedly used an illegal eye gouging technique. In addition, the Brazilian held the shoulder lock too long in many people's estimations and should be penalized for the infraction. The Brazilian feels he did nothing wrong, but the World Series of Fighting president Ray Sefo will address the media on Tuesday. Former Alliance representative Miles Jury is looking to make the move down to 145 pounds. Will make the transition with his new team at Power MMA. The Arizona-based squad is led by UFC veteran and wrestling powerhouse Aaron Simpson. The 15-1 Jury is looking to rebound from a setback against Donald Cerrone this past January. Don't forget to tune in to our preview show as we get you set for all the action that is going down in Nashville. Keep it locked to FN at 7 p.m. as we look ahead to Glover Teixeira and Ovince St. Preux. OSP! Joined by Robin Black, we're going to talk about Cyborg first. She said it's hard. 135 pounds is difficult. When we were in Las Vegas, she said, you know, right now has been the best her weight cut has been going, but she goes, when she tries to get down even lower, she goes, it messes with her brain. She goes, she likes to be able to have conversations with people, and she just does not feel good when she cuts a ridiculous amount of weight. Tito Ortiz saying that, you know, she's going to try. We're going to bring in whoever we need to bring in to ensure that she can get down to 135 pounds. Is this the best move for her physically?
It's easy. Like, either they're lying or they're really dumb.
Yeah.
Because all you've got to do is cut some muscle. It's not a question of, I need to dehydrate down to that weight. You achieve it with diet. You diet down, you take the time, and you become a smaller person. When you're a smaller person, you cut less weight. It's simple. Ronda Rousey's the biggest star in the world. We're going to make movies about her, and she doesn't need Cyborg at all. Life's going pretty good for Ronda Rousey. She's going and knocking people out, making millions of dollars, making movies.
Right.
She doesn't need her.
Yeah, right.
So this woman, if she wants to get part of this action, she's got to go meet Ronda there. It's easy to achieve. You diet down to around 142, 143 pounds, and then you cut the rest.
Okay, now I've got to play devil's advocate. What about Anthony Johnson? He was fighting at 170 pounds. He did what he had to, failed to make weight a bunch of times, well, tried to get down to 170 pounds. Just didn't look good. He was sapped of energy. And then we realized, oh, it's because Anthony Johnson's 205 pounds, should not have been competing in that weight class. Can that not be said with this scenario?
Anthony Johnson could easily compete in that weight class still to this day if he wanted to. But Anthony Johnson didn't want to become a 170-pound man. Anthony Johnson wanted to be a light heavyweight cutting to 170 pounds, just smashing guys. And that was really fun to watch, but it did take a toll on him. That's not the same thing. Same thing, if Cyborg tries to Anthony Johnson it, and that is just be way bigger and try to dehydrate like she's talking about, yeah, you can't do that. You have to diet down and become a physically smaller person. People do it for movies all the time. They win awards for it. People do it in real life. Jared from Subway. Wait, I don't think we're allowed to talk about Jared from Subway anymore. Anyways, you get the point. You can become a smaller person through diet and exercise, and you don't have to dehydrate.
Now, Cyborg, do you understand? I'm sure you feel for her. You look at her scenario. It's like, well, Ronda Rousey just won in 35 seconds, taking out Besh Correia. Well, if I'm Cyborg, it's, yeah, well, I took out my opponent in the first round in 45 seconds by knockout as well. She is just as spectacular, and I honestly believe if the UFC just gave her the Ronda Rousey treatment, don't focus on Ronda Rousey, not 135 pounds. Cyborg is 145 pounds. Ronda's 135 pounds. Give her the treatment. I think she'll be a star almost as big as Ronda.
I disagree, and I disagree because there is that thing, that star power thing. We don't still really know quite what it is, but for some reason, Conor McGregor, we're just going to go nuts about this guy. It's something special that human beings have. And OSP, he's really good. You hate OSP. You know what I mean?
I don't hate him.
You hate him.
I don't hate him.
But whatever it is, he's very, very skilled. But he has done nothing to capture our imagination and make us feel like he's some special, unique individual we need to watch.
Yeah.
Ronda is Conor McGregor. She has that. It's just
Sure.
in her. Is it possible that there's another also devastating fighter who has that in Cyborg? Sort of, but not quite.
I just look at it, you're right. When you look at Ronda, you can compare her to the Brock Lesnar's and the Conor McGregor, where their numbers are through the roof. But I think you look at George St. Pierre, he wasn't the king of pay-per-views. Sure, consistently 500,000, 600,000. I think that's where Cyborg can be. She can be a star, maybe not as big as Ronda, but she can be a gigantic star on her own based on her abilities, what she puts forth inside of the cage or ring. And I think you have an interesting story, and you can tease the Ronda Rousey thing for years.
I think Ronda has a part in this, and the reason is because she's brilliant. She really is. And she's brilliant as a fighter. She's brilliant as a judo player. She's she's brilliant.
Yeah.
But she's also brilliant like Floyd Mayweather. She does look, she said it. She looks at these women as a crop to go harvest.
Yeah.
When you can go and you know you're going to beat everybody, you help develop the crop, you take care of it, you water it, you put a little bit of, anti whatever stuff on it, you fly some planes over it, spread some stuff on it. When you're ready, you harvest it. And she wants to harvest Cyborg when she's good and ready. And the best way to do that is make Cyborg go to 135 pounds. She's the star. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, Ronda Rousey, as you mentioned, very intelligent. She's been led by a good team, really her entire combat sports career, which has essentially been her whole life, building to this moment right now where she is eclipsing the sport. And I think the UFC, they really don't need to have anybody that will challenge Ronda Rousey. I think it's worse for the UFC if Cyborg came in, because we know that Cyborg has a wrestling background. We know that she has a great jiu-jitsu background on top of her Thai boxing skills. And I can see why the UFC wouldn't want Cyborg to get the prize over Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda will harvest the Cyborg crop when she's good and ready. So much stuff this weekend, man. So many things to talk about. We're going to have to, people will catch us in 5 rounds today. We're going to have to talk about that total human stain that
Rousimar.
is the Palhares.
Yeah.
And there's so much other stuff that we're going to have to talk about today. I mean, your brain, the Diaz brothers, man, good thing those guys don't have guns.
God.
You know what I mean? Good thing the Diaz brothers don't carry guns.
They're banned
Please
now,
don't ever carry
moving
guns.
forward from the All World Series of Fighting events. We're going to talk about it on 5 rounds today, but we've got to talk about Ronda's performance. Just so dominant. You talked about it, how when they were facing off during the weigh-in, you just believed what Ronda was doing, where Correa seemed a little bit rattled and seemed afraid. And Ronda just going into beast mode just dispatched her in no time flat.
Yeah, and I don't know that it was the best approach. There were a lot of times you could have wrapped that girl up and thrown her. And she left her arm out. There was a few little moments, but what she did was just, it wasn't relevant. She knew she was far better, and she was just going to overwhelm. She was going to go in there and just overwhelm her until that old idea, put 2 fighters in a room and one walks out with the key. Ronda's going to walk out with the key every single time.
She continues to prove that she is one of the best in the business. Don't go anywhere. More FNNE is coming your way.